I was thrown out of the chair, and this was hurting, and I couldn't get up. Someone helped me get up. My husband was thrown down the aisle, so he was stretched out on the aisle.
We begin tonight with that deadly train accident in South Carolina. An Amtrak passengers train slamming into a freight train parked on the tracks. 2 Amtrak crew members losing their lives, one of them a local father. Thank you for staying up late with us. I'm Anthony Austin.
And I'm Heather Crawford. We're glad you're with us. Now, crews could be seen just rushing to the scene of mangled rail cars. Thousands of gallons of gas spilling everywhere. And as we mentioned, 2 Amtrak workers were killed, including 36-year-old Michael Sella. Sella is from Orange Park. He was the conductor. To respect his family's wishes, we've decided not to show his picture.
And we have live team coverage for you tonight. Nick Perot has reaction from passengers who were on that Amtrak train and are now safely back in Jacksonville tonight. But we begin with Jeff Vallon with the very latest. And Jeff, according to the NTSB, the Amtrak train was on the wrong track.
Yeah, that is right, Anthony. The NTSB is investigating tonight, and our sister station in Columbia has confirmed through the safety board that a switch on the track had been left in the wrong position, leading the Amtrak train to crash into the Freightliner.
We've had a train derailment. It's a train-on-train collision.
A scene of mangled metal amidst a giant heap of confusion. About 2:30 this morning, a Miami-bound Amtrak train slammed into a freight train outside Columbia, South Carolina. Nearly 150 people were aboard.
I was thrown out of the chair, and this was hurting, and I couldn't get up. The first thought was I wasn't going to make it. This was the end for me.
Among those killed, the train's engineer Michael Kempf of Savannah and Michael Sella from Orange Park, the train's conductor.
It appears that Amtrak was on the wrong track.
South Carolina's governor says the CSX freight train was parked on what appeared to be a side track, and the Amtrak train was traveling at nearly 60 miles an hour upon impact.
It's quite a crash, and it's, as you know, we take great pains to see that these kinds of things do not happen, but unfortunately they do from time to time.
President Trump tweeted out his thoughts and prayers for the victims. Survivors were taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. Now, this was the second deadly crash involving an Amtrak train in just recent days. Some 200 Republican members of Congress were able to walk away from a crash in Virginia Wednesday that killed the driver of a garbage truck at a crossing. And in December, you might remember, 3 people were killed when an Amtrak train derailed in Washington state. Investigators say that train was traveling 80 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. Now, looking back at 2016, 260 people were killed, 842 injured by train derailments in the U.S. that year. The NTSB chairman is already saying today's crash would not have happened if an automated safety system called Positive Train Control had been in use. Congress mandated PTC in 2008 with a deadline of the end of 2015. Perhaps fatefully, that deadline was later extended to the end of this year. Our team coverage continues tonight with Nick Perot joining us live from the Amtrak station on the northwest side of Jacksonville. Nick.
Jeff, good evening. Spoke with some passengers that arrived here by bus from South Carolina. As you can imagine, shaken up, but also frustrated. Plenty of questions from them for both CSX and Amtrak this evening.
I never seen anything in my entire life like this. Bodies everywhere. People on top of one another. The train just crashed.
Passengers say the Amtrak train they were on crashes without warning in the early morning hours.
Just returned to the bathroom and just curled up to lay back to sleep. And next thing you know, I was bouncing off chairs, and chairs was flying, cell phones, laptops.
Reliving the emotional pain, though, is not as nearly as bad as the physical pain that remains.
I was trapped. I couldn't move both of them. It's my whole body.
They got crunched in the seat?
Yeah, up underneath the seat. The seat fell on top of him.
And it was killing my back. I mean, I was screaming. It was a lot of pain. And he came up and gave me his jacket. And he said, "I'll put it on you, but there's blood all over it." I said, "I don't care."
When I twist, you know, I feel pain, but I mean, I can't let that make me stand still, you know. I mean, I got to keep moving.
Those that needed medical attention got some, but these passengers argue it was not enough.
I don't agree with the fact that, you know, they gave me a shot and told me to leave. You know, I could still barely walk.
Threw us a few pain pills and shipped us out the door.
As Wendy, Isaacus, and George and others try to move past this in Jacksonville for the time being, it's not without questions to both Amtrak and CSX on how this happened.
No warning, didn't hear no brakes, just that was it, you know.
Passengers say they had no warning before and little help after. You happy how things were handled? You upset?
No, I'm a little upset. I mean, I figured Amtrak would at least, you know, offer people a hotel stay or, you know, something. I mean, besides a meal from the Red Cross. We didn't even see no Amtrak representatives. I mean, you spoke with a few law enforcement, and that was it.
And all I know is I went back over there and they said, if you got your luggage and you've been to the hospital, you got to get on this bus and go to Jacksonville. And so that's where we are now.
And back out here live, questions that still remain for these passengers as they now go on their separate way. Reporting live tonight outside of Amtrak, Nick Perot, First Coast News on your side.